Hi everyone, I would just like to say thank you for all your hard work this year in engendering a culture of serious respect for reading across the school. And thank you for your trust, your belief, because this is new and some of it is quite radical and a change from what we've been doing before, and some of it on the surface perhaps didn't look like a good idea. I can now confidently tell you at the end of the year, now that data is starting to roll in, that it very much was. So we started with this at the beginning of the year, which was our schedule of testing and interventions, the ideas, the big ideas. So you've got reading testing and those pupils who came back with significantly less than average reading age scores went into the Thinking Reading program. Here's a bit of data showing you what we've done. So we tested pupils and you've got average for age across there, and you've got a cohort of pupils here. This was a representative selection of pupils, so I haven't just picked all the good ones. I've picked kids that, there were some kids whose reading age didn't go anywhere, or there were even some who, in the second set of testing, it looked like it had gone down. So this is a big sample, and these blocks represent the difference between where they were reading and the average for their year group. We are now at a point where that gap has shrunk. We are quite literally closing the gap there. From January to May, that cohort, the difference has shrunk, and you can even see that there are some pupils who are now reading above average for their year group. We've also had paired reading that's been going on, comprehension reading groups. We've bought books and sent them home for those on the PP register. We have set up a university-style academic library, and the sixth form are using this increasingly. And we have put all these other sort of ambient things in place. So form time reading. The reason this fits into ambient is, some of the feedback that I've had from tutors about form time reading is that the kids were not engaged. They didn't really like the books, or teachers themselves have said, oh, this is a bit boring, I don't like it. Doesn't matter. It's okay if it's boring. Boring's fine. The point is they're reading, and these books are objectively good. There's one book on the list that I don't like. That I hate it. It's rubbish. I think it's awful, but it's objectively good. It contains vocabulary, sentence structures, cultural capital. It has things that we are presenting to these kids across the whole year group. Everyone in the year group. It's a level playing field. They are all hearing an expert reader read this book to them, which means that they are absorbing things. You're talking about a group of children, some of whom their parents take them to the theatre at the weekends, or on holiday to somewhere and they go to a museum, or they watch certain kinds of shows, they talk about things, maybe they read at home, maybe they've got a lot of bookshelves at home. And evidence suggests, and when I say evidence, I mean the OECD, big, well-established, research says that has a massive effect on attainment and a massive effect on success later in life. And you've also got kids in your group that are not doing these things. You've got kids in your group that maybe never been to the cinema before. And you're providing them with an experience. And if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. Doesn't matter. Sit down, buckle up, listen to me read this. That's the plan. So thank you, thank you for those who've been really on board with that, because I know that was a huge thing and it's been quite contentious. And it is a good idea. It was a good idea. It's still a good idea. But keep the feedback coming, because it may evolve, it may change. We may change the time, how much time we put into this. One of the concerns is that perhaps it's being put on a back burner because other things are getting in the way at form time. It's vital, it's absolutely vital that we drop everything and read. You know, nothing gets in the way of it. So if it means shrinking it at some point and having 1 or 2 days, and those days are sacrosanct and nothing gets in the way, maybe that is a better idea than doing lots and lots and lots of reading, but constantly putting it on the back burner because of other things getting in the way. But we'll look into that. And disciplinary reading in the curriculum, again, same thing. You know, sometimes YouTube video seems like a really, really good idea. Sometimes it definitely is. Sometimes YouTube videos do things better. I'm a big fan of that. You know, if the internet does it better, use the internet. If a video does it better, use a video. If a text does it better, use the text. And on the surface, again, it might seem like the text is laborious and not as engaging and won't work. But again, the evidence, the science says that if you get these kids reading this thing, it has a much bigger impact than them sitting and watching a video. In a lot of contexts, in the majority of contexts. In some contexts, you need that visual thing, but actually, in most contexts, in the current curriculum, reading is always going to be better. And all the other stuff that we've been doing, using the library, getting kids into reading, you know, just promoting reading, prioritizing reading, all of that stuff. Thank you so much for all of this. We are closing the gap in terms of literacy. Comprehension's on the way up. Reading, decoding reading is massively on its way up. There are kids who were reading 6 or 7 years below what we would expect of somebody in their year group who are now reading at the level that we would expect for their year group. That has happened this year. It's incredible. We should be very proud of that. And I gather that, you know, we've also had lots of anecdotal evidence that the pupils who've been through these programs, their attainment is better, their behavior is better, their attendance is better. So this is all very, very good as well. And library use is all the way up as well. We're closing this year with over 10% of our library stock out on loan. I don't know what that looks like compared to other libraries out there in the world. I don't know how well we're doing. I can tell you that in the trust, we are doing better by a country mile. That's the phrase that was used in terms of how many books we have on loan and the engagement with reading. Yeah, cool. Thank you so much. Continue the good work. Let's see what we can do next year, shall we? Awesome. Have a lovely summer. If you need a book to read in the queue, in the 6-hour queue in the airport that's on the horizon, come and speak to me. I might have a recommendation for you. Thanks, bye.